Remember Treasure Wars? I'm just kidding, it's still here. But in a blog post a few days ago, they outlined what seasons will look like, and I'll give my thoughts on it. But first, let's recap what seasons are. Treasure Wars Seasons was first announced on June 24th, 2022 in a Dev Diaries post, which treated like a journal from the development team. So nothing new was announced, but there was a survey sent to players over level 5. The survey asked players how they felt about the game, but some of the questions were potential features to be added, which gets announced later in this post. In the March development post, it was revealed that Seasons would release this summer. In the July development post, so still summer by the way, it was revealed that what Seasons will contain will be revealed soon. Okay. And now we're here today, and we have received an update confirming that Seasons will be available in a few months. And they were disappointed that they didn't meet their summer deadline. But anyways, let's read the blog post. So they announced that Treasure Wars will be rethemed to Bed Wars, which means your bed will be a 2x1 space instead of just a 1x1 space. Which does mean games, mainly more competitive ones like scrims, will be impacted slightly. You'll need more blocks to cover up a bed instead of a treasure, which from there you might not have even enough blocks to make it to middle, for example. Now I'm not a competitive player at all, so I don't know how big this will impact games. It might not even change anything. So here's what the beds look like. Every treasure unlock will be replaced with one of many designs. You know what, I actually kind of like the designs they've showed off, and I particularly like the pirate one, which would fit well as one of the lower level unlocks, assuming the default bed design is just a colored sheet. It's also worth noting that all limited event unlocks and bundles will include an equivalent version with a similar design, and I'm glad they didn't just throw all of that away because I'm not gonna lie, I thought they were gonna completely abandon this. They mentioned why they changed it to Bed Wars, and I may be slightly biased because I'm a content creator, but this change is great for the reason they've provided. It brings traffic onto the Hive to those familiar with Bed Wars content. However, the negative with this is that they're completely removing the identity of the game, and it'll definitely take some time to get used to. Also, does this mean that they're renaming Just Build to Build Battle soon? Also, more towards Hive YouTubers, but most of them brand their videos as Java videos, which may lead to people clicking off their video once they see that it's on Bedrock Edition, but I'm not sure if this will impact them that much. Now it's time for the features Seasons will have. Bed Wars will have a micro hub that provides easy access to your locker and a challenge merchant, which there will be season quests that grant you challenge medals. These medals can be spent in the Bed Wars micro hub for special rewards. Okay, whatever this is, this sounds awesome, and I'm excited for this to come out. It reminds me a lot of the ring shop that was in the Sonic event, which I'm gonna be honest, I do kinda miss. Summoners are now generators. You can upgrade your island generator to generate other currencies. So I believe this means that you could potentially get a diamond or an emerald summoner at your base. And this will definitely impact the game, especially scrims again, so maybe you should be able to disable this feature in custom servers. There are also team upgrades you can buy to get special upgrades with varying functionality. This will probably be similar to the upgrades Capture the Flag has. So far, I'd say great changes that will add more depth and add more replayability. There will be 7 brand new maps, probably 2 in solos, duos, trios, and squads, and 1 for megas. It also states that there will be improvements to the current maps. If you remember 2 years ago, they actually did this before. They replaced Fairy Gardens with a new version of Fairy Gardens. I like how both of the maps look. There is a little problem though. Everyone is talking about how the Lighthouse one looks really familiar. So it kind of looks like that one map from Hypixel, which is kind of funny that this managed to happen. But that second map, honestly, I want to play on that map because it looks like it will be a duos map. And actually, genuine question, why are all of the duos maps just better in like every way? Like even in Sky Wars, I just enjoy playing on the duos maps more than the solos maps. Damage indicators will also be added, showing the health of enemies you are fighting with. Now this sounds like a really good decision, especially since this got voted in from that survey I was talking about. But I have a really, and I mean really really, really bad feeling that this will encourage literally everyone to run away from fights more than it already happens. Are you a lower health than the person you're fighting? Run. I mean, thank goodness this was not introduced in the running capital of the server. Anyway, there will be new items added, obviously. Depending on what they add, this will impact Free Shop as you can buy as much as that item as possible. But like what everyone else is saying, I don't think this should impact the game too much. I mean, really, it should just add on to the gimmicks you have to learn for Free Shop. The shop's UI will also be improved, making it easier to browse and buy items. Nah, we making it out of the capture the flag with this one. And yeah, that's all the update will add. But now for the most controversial thing about this update, stats reset. So all of your stats will be reset, and Bed Wars will have new leaderboards. You can see why this change is so controversial. Some players have played thousands of games trying to get prestige, and now all of that time of playing will just go down the drain, and even worse, leaderboard grinders will feel disheartened and will not want to play the awesomeness that this update would bring. Now, what have they done to repay? So those who have reached a specific point on the leaderboard will receive a hat that shows how much you've played. So in other words, you're getting bopped. You need to avoid these guys at all costs. So I don't think that this is enough because so many people have played Treasure Wars and these items will only be granted to those who have played this year. So players who have grinded the game during 2021, for example, and then quit afterwards will not receive anything. Which, I mean, if they've quit, I mean, I guess it's kinda fair, but people have still grinded the game. But they've redeemed themselves. Update! For those top tier prestige players, we'll grant you 10 1-hour XP boosters for each prestige level. That means if you're prestige 5, you'll get 50 boosters for free. This means we'll be giving away over $125,000 worth of boosters. These boosters will be granted when Bed Wars releases. So I'm only prestige 1, but this change will be somewhat beneficial to those who have reached prestige 5, and it might even compensate for lost time. Well, let's face it, they'll get to prestige 5 in 2.5 months anyway. Actually, even quicker because they have 50 boosters now. Although I am confused who thought of this idea to reset levels. Anyway, back to the update. You'll be given a hub title displaying the number of years you've played, and your final level as well. I mean, I guess that's a cool update, I mean, sure. After that, they announced what their order of updates will be. A murder mystery map update, which actually came out after I wrote the script, and I may make a shorter video reviewing it, because these 3 maps are actually very detailed. The Backrooms map in particular has so much secrets put into this goddamn thing that it's the center focus of the update. Skywars Micro Hub and the return of Sky Royale. So from how they described the Micro Hubs, this would be a great place to display the Skywars Collector's Bundle and all of the Skywars variants, including Sky Royale. Speaking of Sky Royale, that's also returning. Sky Royale kinda just went from Hive accidentally releasing it to returning. This is exciting, although I wonder what will be new since the reason why it kept crashing before was because the code was outdated. So they may recode the game and potentially release a few new maps to go along with it. So after those 2 updates, you know, seasons will be released. It's kind of funny. They put formerly Twitter because X is a terrible name. After that, they will release more kits to Skywars. Now this sounds exciting, especially for the trapping community, but let's face it, they need to update the normal game more. So yeah, that's the update. I'm excited for it, and hopefully the update will be fun because I do want to make videos on the game I've had the most fun playing. I don't know, when I was level 90, I used to always queue trios and squads as like a solo, and that was so fun for some reason. Like honestly, try that out right now, assuming there's not sweats in your game. There's also one other thing I want to talk about, and it's the statement, why don't you just have both Bed Wars and Treasure Wars, which just doesn't really make any sense. I know Skywars Kits does this, but that game's different on a whole new level. This would just separate the player base in half, and it would just be more confusing than it already was.